Well, joining me to discuss issues in Somalia and Ethiopia is an African Affairs Analyst, Dr. David Matsanga. David Matsanga, good to see you and thanks for your time. Now, is it okay for us to say this is placing the cart before the horse? This negotiation, this conversation should have started before going into a 15-month-long war. I beg your pardon, I think you have to unmute yourself, Dr. Matsanga.
Okay, yes. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes. Are we together now?
Go ahead then.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, perfectly.
You hear me now?
I can hear you, Dr. Matsanga.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, viewers across the continent of Africa, and thank you very much for inviting me to this show. You are absolutely correct that this should have begun much earlier. We should have talked before going to war. We have destroyed a country that had a GDP, a country where Africa was proud because it existed in Africa. Ethiopia's GDP was promising. We have destroyed it after 15 months of war. However, we thank Kenya and other countries and the key players behind the scene. Some of us who have actually talked and talked and talked and continue to talk and shout over our mouth, our voices to say, please, there must be a negotiated settlement on both sides. We welcome the move. If that is correct, that's okay.
So quickly here, let me butt in. Why has the political stakeholders not been able to reach a national consensus until now?
Because they have two different ideologies. The history of Ethiopia, of the people of Tigray and other places, right from those days when they were struggling against Mengistu Haile Mariam, they had different strands of ideology. You remember all of them were together with me and other people. We were fighting the removal of Mengistu Haile Mariam. But later on, after that, Eritrea went its way. It did not like the Tigrayans of Zenawi and other people. And then the rest came. It is part of the African problem of ethnicity. You know very well that every country in Africa has tension because of ethnicity, except Tanzania and Uganda, which is now for us in Uganda, we have criminalized tribalism, ethnicity. You don't call another Ugandan from another place a name of his place. Tanzania, it is one of the countries in Africa that has got no ethnicity, ethnic tensions. But most of the countries, including your place where you are, there is quite a lot of ethnic tensions. So ethnicity in Ethiopia also acted as a matter of accelerated the war, the conflict, made it very difficult for these warring parties. And the previous prime ministers continued to keep Ethiopia together. Like Tito Marshall kept Yugoslavia together. But when he died, Yugoslavia broke into several states, and there was a very bitter war.
Now let's take a quick. Sorry to continue again. Let's take a quick look at Ethiopia. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed says his government is open to talks. We started this conversation with the Tigray People Liberation Front. So, what should be on the agenda for this all-important talk?
Human rights, and one of the problems, and let me warn them in advance, accountability. You cannot start talks without thinking about accountability. Most of the peace processes in Africa collapse because of lack of accountability. Look at the one of Sudan, no accountability. You know that very well. If you don't have accountability, then you have a very big problem here. So let them begin by putting agenda number 5, which usually follows ceasefire, which is accountability. After the ceasefire, let's come to accountability. There are some commanders, there are commanders on both sides who acted very, very badly. For peace to grow in that region, you must account for the millions who have been displaced, who have been killed. Then the peace process will hold. I want to thank you, Kenya, for playing a very vital role behind the scenes to make sure that the peace process in Ethiopia takes shape and reaches a round-table discussion of dialogue.
Now you're talking about Kenya. Now you're talking about Kenya. Just a minute here before we let you go. I'll need your reaction to this because President Uhuru Kenyatta has officially endorsed the ODM leader Raila Odinga for the presidency, and he told delegates at Mount Kenya region that Uhuru, that's the first time he was actually coming up to tell the people where he's putting his support. So before you leave, Dr. Matsanga, what does this, hold about politics in Kenya, where you are at the moment?
Thank you very much, but I've been telling you this, Suleiman. I've been telling you that there is no way President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta will leave power to Deputy President William Ruto, because William Ruto is considered a thief, is a corrupt man, is well known that he actually let down his friend as a president. He let him down. He walked a different route. He was told not to do campaigns. He continued doing campaigns. One of the problems that Uhuru Kenyatta is trying to heal in Kenya is what we have just discussed of ethnicity, tribal ethnicity. And he's trying to heal this country so that when he leaves the power, the country does not disintegrate. You know that is what is killing most of the programs. I have been listening to your program from the beginning. In Central Africa, in the other places, it is ethnicity. It's war, conflict. Uhuru Kenyatta wants to leave a united Kenya under a banner of united leadership. That's why he has endorsed Raila Amolo Odinga, who can carry the banner of unity of purpose, not Ruto, who wants to make Kenya a mafia state, a state that looks like they want to grab everything, sell everything.
I'd like to thank you for your time, Dr. David Matsanga, for unpacking this for us.